And it is so funny to be like, maybe this guy with the stolen camera was going to make a masterpiece, because that would have been a surprise. Like, imagine like Stanley Kubrick makes 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they're like, "Well, Stanley, how did you film that?" You're like, "Oh man, I fucking stole a credit card. It's a random dude in Burbank, and I just like bought myself a camera, and then I made 2001: A Space Odyssey." You'd be like, "Huh, wow, what an unlikely origin story."
It was pure coincidence that this guy had a $10 million credit card limit. I gotta say, it really worked in our favor. Put the whole thing on one card.
Bank of America calls like, Mr. Flores, we have some unusual activity concerning your card. Did you fund a $83 million motion picture back in July? Hello and welcome to the Lyric Boys podcast. My name is Lucian Flores, and with me, as always, is Andrew Stieglitz. Andrew, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Nice to hear from you, Andrew. Anyway, this is the Lyric Boys podcast, and this is a podcast where me and Andrew take one of our favorite bands or musicians and artists, and we pick 10 of their craziest, wildest, funniest, most zany lyric, and we talk about it. We break those lyrics down and we have a good time. Is that right?
That having a good time is subjective, but yes, we absolutely break these lyrics down in a fun way, not meant to be analytical.
Having fun and a good time is objective. Thank you. Thank you. Pointing that out. Anyway,
it's subjective.
Subjective. Sorry. Anyway,
why don't you screw your head on? Okay.
This is a fantastic episode. Do you know why?
Why is that?
This episode is fantastic because we are covering the band Charly Bliss, and we are both very excited for this.
Yeah, I love this band. They're so good, man. I discovered them a few years ago, and you want me to just let you know who they are a little bit?
That is a really good question, and I would love to take you up on that offer. Okay, champ?
All right. Charly Bliss is a four-piece band from Connecticut. They currently reside in Brooklyn. Formed by a brother-sister duo of Eva and Sam Hendricks. Eva on the vocals and rhythm guitar, and Sam on the drums. So yeah, they released a couple of EPs back in like 2013, 2014, and they currently have 2 full-length albums out. So their first one, Guppy, they actually recorded it in 2015, but ended up scrapping that entirely and re-recording it in 2017. Which is what they ended up releasing. And that album and the EPs beforehand are very much like the genre of like power pop, kind of like a pop punk style. Very, very comparable to Weezer. Yeah. Like everybody compared them to Weezer.
That's definitely the vibe. The first comparison I thought too.
Yes, definitely. But for Young Enough, which is their second album, their second full length, that they released in 2019, they embraced more of like a synth sound that also encompasses guitars, but according to the band, it's heavily inspired by the album Melodrama by Lorde.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and that definitely comes through. I know that they were listening to a lot of Lorde at the time, a lot of like Sia, a lot of our pop queens, which we stan.
Yeah, we do on this podcast. That is a policy.
Yes. So they did. So those are the 2 full lengths. They released an EP right after Young Enough called Supermoon that, as they put it, basically bridges the gap between Guppy and Young Enough. So it's very much that transition between the crunchy, distorted Weezer-like guitars to that Young Enough Lorde sound. And those songs, like you hear the like, oh, okay, these are the songs that maybe were like some of the early cuts from Young Enough before they embraced fully that synth sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I I did not know this band before you suggested them. I had never even heard of them. I was living in the dark, in the shadows. But yeah, you were like, they're going to be great because she has so many insane, wild lyrics. And yeah, I think I had like 18 lyrics initially or something like crazy. Yeah. And I was like, okay, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, they absolutely have some wild lyrics. Their lyrics are like very vulnerable and reflective, and they often like sing about relationships and past traumas. Yeah. But also they have this, I like to call it kind of a what the fuck are they talking about vibe. That is, I mentioned this like back on our Modest Mouse episode also. Yeah. Interpol has some of that too. Even LCD Sound System, where it's like, I don't know what in God's name you mean by this, but God damn it, it is so fucking catchy, and I will listen to it 10 times in a row.
Yeah. Well, I think they do a good job of using humor within lyrics that are like portray a meaning or emotion in the time, but then there's humor to like kind of cut that awkwardness or the vulnerability in some way.
Yeah, and there is humor, intentional humor, and then there's that like what the fuck are they talking about humor, and then there is there are some lyrics that make you go like, oh, that was a very vulnerable moment you just shared. And I'm glad that you included me, the listener, in on this little point in your life.
I'm glad that all the listeners get to experience a little bit of a little treat in this episode as they can really tell the difference between two different New York accents in the word humor.
Yeah. Oh, man. Are you talking about how I don't say the H?
Yeah, but that's my mom's like that too, and a lot of like her side of the family.
I was only made aware of that in recent years. I didn't know that was a thing.
I just very much locked into that for some reason. I was just like, oh, this is a delicacy. This is a treat.
Lucian, do you want to hear a fun fact about this band?
I would love to hear a fun fact about the band Charly Bliss.
Here's a fun fact. The guitarist, whose name is Spencer Fox, who I met at one of their shows one day. That's bonus fact.
That fact is for our Patreon listeners.
Yeah. We edit that out if you're not a Patreon subscriber. He is also the voice of Dash from the Incredibles movie.
Hell yeah.
Which is super random. He also had some voice work on characters on the Disney Channel show Kim Possible, and he was one of the dogs in Air Bud. So there you go.
You know how sometimes you're like, you're not going to learn anything in this podcast. I got to say, I just learned so much.
You can basically turn the podcast off right now because that will be about how much you learn up until this point. There's nothing of educational value further down the road. There is some fodder for your brain thinking about certain philosophical concepts. We get pretty deep, but nothing super educational.
Yes, very true. Very well said. This is also a special podcast because it marks the first time we're both podcasting as double vaccinated kings.
I feel like the entire world is in 3D right now. Do you feel that way, Lucian?
I in fact know it is in 3D.
Okay. Well, that's how I feel. All you single vax people or non-vax people, you see it in one dimension. But me and Lucian, we have all three: sight, sound, smell, all three dimensions.
Love it. All right. So before we get into the lyrics, I just want to say that this podcast, we are partnering up with the music website Beats Per Minute. And so you can go to their website and they'll be posting and hosting the Lyric Boys, and we're very grateful for that. And we really like Beats Per Minute. They have good taste, and they've got, I don't know, they've been around for a while.
They partnered with us. Of course they have good taste.
Yeah. It's a cool website, and you know, they do artist interviews and reviews and all that stuff, so check them out. But other than that, you know what time it is. It's the time for me to say, subscribe to the Lyric Boys wherever you get your podcast, and you'll never miss an episode, which is king shit. if you ask me.
That's Urban Dictionary's definition of king shit. It's just subscribing to the lyric boys.
Listen to the man, okay? He's a college grad. He knows what he's talking about.
So let's get into these lyrics. You want me to give you the first one?
I would love that.
All right. My first lyric is from the song Black Hole from the album Guppy. And the lyric is, she's got her toe in the cornhole, bleeding out in a snow cone. Lost my will to the black hole, stuck my gum on his soul. Here's a good example of a what the fuck are they saying lyric, but also it kind of sounds like the worst town fair ever. Like you go to a town fair, there's like cornhole, there's snow cones, right? And you just got really drunk, you stuck your toe in the cornhole, you ruined everything. You somehow you got blood in your snow cone. I don't really know what the story there is. That's an entire story in and of itself. And
it is a fair gone wrong.
That's what it sounds like. That's my interpretation of this.
I think that it's a town fair that has cornhole, snow cones, and also just a massive black hole in the middle of it as its main attraction.
Come to the Middletown Black Hole. This somehow a black hole has formed in suburban Illinois. And we have the only black hole in the entire known universe that you can walk right up to and get sucked in. Tell us what's out down there.
I love it. And then at the bottom of the black hole is a QR code to be like, rate your experience in the black hole.
Yeah.
So
science fiction movie plot.
The idea of also bleeding out in a snow cone, not fun. I would be very disappointed if I were eating my delicious snow cone only to find out that it tasted like my own blood.
The only way I can picture bleeding out in a snow cone is like, you ever go to take a drink from a bottle and you like break your fucking tooth on it? Because that has happened to me.
That's
if like you are so excited for the snow cone and also you smoked meth before and you just are a raging lunatic and you smash the snow cone in your face so hard, but you end up punching your face and you get blood all over your snow cone and it looks like cherry.
Yes. That is a very realistic moment. I can believe that happening to any of us. To any of us.
Thank you. I really paint a picture.
You do paint a picture. That's what we get. That's what you get as a Lyric Boys listener. You get Andrew Stieglitz being a little audio Rembrandt. Okay? We
wow.
stand.
Oh my God. That should be my rap name. Audio Rembrandt.
Love it. All right.
You want to hit me with your first lyric?
All right. Here we go. First lyric is from the song Bleach. And the lyric is, spitting me out and I should say something nice. I'm fucking joy and I hemorrhage light. So I love the unhinged, pure confidence in yourself to call yourself joy, just fucking joy. And the idea that you also hemorrhage light. Amazing. But just iconically unhinged to me as a statement.
Very unhinged. You know, it's interesting to read this versus listening. Because like I hemorrhage light. For some reason, I always thought it meant like this is like a view into my psyche.
Okay.
When you get a cut,
yes,
and you bleed.
Okay.
Some people are heavy bleeders and some people are light bleeders.
Great.
I thought that she was saying that like when I hemorrhage blood, it's light. But it makes a lot more sense that it's her light soul.
Yeah.
That is like basically pouring out into the universe.
As a person, she radiates like joy and lightness and happiness. And that's what hemorrhaging light is. Yeah, it's hilarious. It is, because there's being confident in yourself and being like, yeah, I'm a cool person. People like me. To then be like, I'm fucking joy. Just not even a joy. I am joy. I am what joy is and represents. I am that right now.
You know, a person who says that they are the physical representation of joy, 9 times out of 10 usually is not the person you want to be around at all.
I like the idea that we've interacted with 9 to 10 people who have claimed to be the physical representation of joy. What a crew.
In one day, you're just walking down the street and you're like, man, what is going on today?
Turns out there was a gas leak over in New York City.
It also turns out one of them really was a joy to be around. I just couldn't stop being around them.
Yes. We love it. All right,
Great
Andrew.
Song. All right, my second lyric is from the song Percolator. Okay, I wanted to save this because it's my favorite song by them, but I'm just gonna do it as my second lyric. So the lyric is, "I'm gonna die in a getaway car. I haven't tried, but it sounds too hard." I don't know what this means at all. Again, I have no idea what "I'm gonna die in a getaway car" means. However, I like to picture a stuntman.
Yeah.
And he's on set and he's just terrified. But you know what? He lives up to the challenge and he continues to pull the most amazing stunts you've ever seen.
I'm just staring at these lyrics. They are a little confusing to me in the sense that she says she's going to die in a getaway car. And then she says it's too hard to do that. So she's not going to die in a getaway car if it's too hard for that. What's it going to be? If you want to die in a getaway car, you got to put in the work.
Exactly. I think it's about getting out of a relationship, right? I'm going to die trying to get out of this thing. But also there's some great lyrics from this song. Like I just want to highlight some. We'll just jump around in the song real quick. There's the lyric, "I cry all the time. I think that it's cool. I'm in touch with my feelings." I think that is cool to cry all the time. Be in touch with your feelings. Maybe not all the time, but cry. Let it out.
I want you to be a cool counselor going to school, sitting down in a chair backwards, being like, "Hey kids, I'm fucking cool with my leather jacket and my cigarette, right? Well, guess what? Guess how I got to be this cool? Because I'm fucking crying all the time. You break
down in the middle of it.
And I think about everything that's wrong to me and everything I've learned and just the poignant beauty of this universe, all right? And that's how...
But you're super cool, right? You got a leather jacket, like... Shit fucking sucks, man. That's a great professor. There's also... I love metaphors. Swimming in your pool. I am pregnant with meaning. So she just goes on to list some metaphors that she loves. And right. I stand a good metaphor.
I do stand a good metaphor too. We're
metaphor kings.
If you're at home, take a moment of just make a metaphor, okay? We'll wait. Okay, cool.
You know what? Back. Tweet at us your favorite metaphor.
Yeah. Great. We love it.
This song is the song they always close with when they play it because it's like their most like rockin' and it's just a vibe. They were actually another fun fact. Ooh. They were the last concert I saw before lockdown. Was Charly Bliss at Webster Hall. Yep.
When was that?
November 2019.
Damn. I don't remember what mine was.
It was a great time. Webster Hall. You want to give me your second lyric?
I would love that. My second lyric is from the song Under You. And awesome. This reminds me of one of the Blink-182 songs we did, First Date, and I think you'll see why.
Okay.
I want to rip myself in two with part of me attached to you. I'll occupy your nation, fool. I can't get out from under you. Every time you say my name, I think it's a mistake. How can I believe that you are real? Every time you say my name, I think it must be fake. How can I believe that you're still here?
Yeah, I didn't equate it with First Date until you pointed that out. And now I see the big ball of anxiety this person has for their loved one saying their name.
Yeah. It's we know the real meaning is like, oh, it's crazy that I'm with you. And every time you say my name, I'm just like still shook by how awesome this is, whatever. But but the first date lyrics were like this man was on a date with someone and was just like, you can't be real. You don't have problems. You can't do anything wrong. And then this person's like, oh my God, this can't be real. You say my name? Oh my God, you know my name. I love it.
She cries every time they say her name. It's like, listen, I gotta tell you. It's a lot. It's a lot to handle right now, man.
She just gasps every time her name is said in a conversation with this man.
It's like 3 years into the relationship, and they're like, hey, do you want to go to Red Lobster, or do you want to go somewhere a little nicer? Jennifer, are you listening to me? And she's just like, no, Red Lobster with you, the love of my life, my idol. No, I can't.
Rachel sounds like an overworked substitute teacher from 3rd grade with a cigarette problem.
Red Lobster. I can't.
Rachel, was it Jennifer?
Jennifer, yeah.
Wow. Great. We love it. Also, so I also wanted to say the first part of that lyric, because this one line was also very funny to me, which is, I'll occupy your nation, fool.
I love that.
It's just so funny. Fool is a underappreciated like insult. It's funny.
Fool's great.
No one uses like, oh, you fool, but fool can be cute. It could be really disappointed. It just runs there's a range of emotion that fool can make me feel.
You know what's interesting about this is that the second part of this lyric is the anxiety of like, I can't believe that you're real. The first part is a very possessive person, it looks like. A person who's just like,
yeah,
I will fucking occupy your entire being. Mm-hmm. You're never gonna get rid of me, fool.
Fool. Great. Love fool.
Yeah, we should use fool more. Fool is like, especially when you haven't, like, you're not expecting to get fool at a bar. Like, if you're in a bar fight and someone's like, yo, you fucking piece of shit, you fucking hitting on my girl, and you're like, are you a fool? They're gonna walk away. I guarantee they're gonna walk away from that fight.
Yeah. The guy who says fool knows how to put the beat down on.
It's like that scene from Good Will Hunting when Matt Damon just like owns the bully at the bar because he's smarter than him.
I think at this point on, we know that we're going to shoehorn in fool a lot during the rest of the podcast, just to get a little meta and show listeners a little bit behind the scenes. This is what goes on. Fool
All
is
right, fool.
in. Oh, damn.
You want to hear my third lyric, fool?
Yes, fool, I do.
Hashtag content fools.
Yes. Let's get trending for the hashtag fool.
My third lyric is from the song Camera off of the album Young Enough. And the lyric is, someone used my card to buy a camera in California. 556 will get you almost nowhere. Maybe my card company just prevented a masterpiece or something sick and twisted, but I'll never know for sure. Great outlook about having your card stolen, gotta say.
Yeah.
Also, another vulnerable moment, just like I love that I now know that her bank account information, her bank account had $556 at the time this song was written, which is maybe 2018-ish. So that's a good, I just feel privileged to know that.
Or they're just putting $556 on a credit card for one camera.
I mean, you could get like a nice DSLR for that, right? Or
yeah, you can.
What kind of things do you think the card company prevented?
Well, I think it's fun to have that idea of like this fraud detection. What were the ramifications of this? This person that never got this camera, right? Because the card was declined, right? Mm-hmm. And it is so funny to be like, maybe this guy with the stolen camera was going to make a masterpiece, because that would have been a surprise. Like, imagine like Stanley Kubrick makes 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they're like, "Well, Stanley, how did you film that?" You're like, "Oh man, I fucking stole a credit card, some random dude in Burbank, and I just like bought myself a camera, and then I made 2001: A Space Odyssey." You'd be like, "Huh, wow, what an unlikely origin story."
It was pure coincidence that this guy had a $10 million credit card limit. I gotta say, it really worked in our favor. Put the whole thing on one card.
Bank of America calls like Mr. Flores, we have some unusual activity concerning your card. Did you fund a $83 million motion picture back in July? Like, oh, me no.
What was the name of that motion picture? As if you can't remember. Like, the name of the motion picture was Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Does that sound familiar to you? You know what? That would be a great scam. Instead of like going with like Nigerian prince needs money, right? You call someone, or you're like your car's extended warranty, right? Like, how many fucking times have you got this phone call? Your car's extended warranty is up, right? The better scam is you call someone, you're like, hey, your card was used to fund this Hollywood movie. You are entitled to royalties from this movie because your card was your credit card was stolen and used to pay for the movie. All we needed to verify is your card information, and we will give you the royalties to this movie.
Great scam. Lyric Boys.
It's foolproof. It's foolproof.
Oh man, look at this fool. The other alternative, right, which is not a masterpiece, is something sick and twisted. I feel like that's more likely than the masterpiece if we're thinking who's, I don't know, a random person who steals credit card information.
Mr. Flores, your card was used to fund this film. It was a snuff film. However, the royalties are quite a lot. Would you like to claim them?
Mr. Flores, we have some concerning news regarding your credit card. You see, it was used for a camera that films these two men in their late 20s on YouTube just riffing about music and lyrics. It's honestly the saddest thing I've ever seen. And your credit card funded this sick and twisted madness. Are you happy with yourself?
Unfortunately, you don't get any royalties for this because it is unmonetizable.
You know when Kanye tweeted, "I don't have a manager, I can't be managed," when he left his manager? Iconic line. The equivalent would be, "I can't be monetized, I'm unmonetized."
Unmonetizable?
Unmonetizable, yeah.
Oh my God. Do you want to give me your third lyric, fool?
I was thinking about it for a while, and I'm ready for the third lyric.
If you're ready, then I'm ready to take the dive with you.
All right, let's do it. My third lyric is from the song Capacity. This song kind of had a Fantagram vibe to me. A little more. This was, I think, maybe the one I liked the most when I was listening to them.
It's definitely the most like sort of synth based, like they have almost like a drum machine sounding thing going through it. Very, very cool, very different.
Yeah. And the lyric is, "I used to think that I should be good at everything. Now I know I was wrong." Great already. Then there's another lyric. "I was raised an East Coast witch, like doing nothing sacrilegious. Triple overtime, ambitious, sentimental, anxious kid. I was raised an East Coast witch, like doing nothing sacrilegious, triple overtime, ambitious. Sometimes nothing is delicious."
I honestly think most relatable lyric for me personally.
Oh, I'm glad you say that, because when I saw this lyric too, I was like, yeah, insanely relatable.
This is the opposite of a what the fuck are they talking about lyric. This is like, not only do I know what they're talking about, I'm fucking living it, bro.
Yeah. Bro, I'm just imagining the same character who went to the school to be like crying school. And I was like, I know what it's like to be anxious. And it's like this just cool guy who gets everyone to be okay with feeling not great all the time. Anyway. I used to think that I should be good at everything. Already relatable. Mm-hmm. Now I know I was wrong. Great. I'm glad she's learned. But that's great. Great lesson.
Yeah.
But I do love the way just this part ends with sometimes nothing is delicious. Which is a great cap on just all these anxieties about like wanting to work, can't, Protestant work ethic. You can't not be working. Always got a #hustle. And then she's just like, you know what? Nothing is delicious. And yeah, we need that sometimes. I think when I heard this, I was like, hell yeah. I was in like a moment where I just wasn't doing much, or maybe I was like stressed. I wasn't doing enough, one of the two. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. That's a vibe.
It also is maybe how an orphan would rationalize not having dinner for the night. If they don't have parents to serve it to them. They'd be like, well, sometimes nothing is delicious. And there is my joke for the episode.
I do like when we have these jokes,
#jokes.
These jokes keep our audience going.
Do we stand an orphan joke?
We do. I also love that she calls herself an East Coast witch.
Yeah.
I do love that.
I feel like an East Coast witch sometimes.
Me too. I think we all feel like an East Coast witch.
Yeah.
There's just that vibe.
Yeah, that is a triple overtime ambitious, doing nothing sacrilegious, just like, you feel it in the pandemic, even when you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And you still feel that like, what should I be doing right now?
Yeah. Guys, here's your homework for the week after this episode. Feast on nothing. All right.
This is the cool professor here.
You have no homework. Just promise me this one thing. Set your phone timer for 30 minutes and do nothing. Anyway.
Let me get you my fourth lyric, King.
Please.
My fourth lyric is from the song Young Enough, from the album Young Enough.
By the band Young Enough?
Not quite.
Oh.
Dumbass, we're fucking 35 minutes into a Charly Bliss episode. Why would the bands be young enough?
I was just like, I don't know, listen to a lot of Run the Jewels, and I just assumed it was going to be like that.
Well, listen. You need to go to a different school. Professor's not giving you enough homework. Your brain is turning to mush. The lyric is, you were still just a kid, just a beautiful boy, crushing cigarettes just to prove a point. Cigarettes are cool. Point proven. End of story.
All right. And moving on to my lyric. No. So I know you've often said that to me, that you just think cigarettes are the coolest looking thing. Like the idea of smoking to you as someone, you've never smoked, right?
I never smoked a cigarette, but every time I see a cigarette being smoked, I'm like, that man knows, okay? He's got his priorities in order.
That's what I love.
Cool.
I love that you think it's so cool looking. So I've said this to you too. I've also never smoked a cigarette, and the lyric boys are two #nerds who have never smoked cigarettes. But
I've smoked other tobacco products like cigars and hookah, but never a cigarette.
What we do is sometimes when I'm eating like a French fry or a veggie straw, I like to tap it like a cigarette and watch the food dust come off, and I think I seem cool.
Well, let me tell you, that's the thing, man. If they made a healthy cigarette that was just like rolled up, crushed up oxygen, I would be the coolest. I would never have been like made fun of. I would be a different person. Okay. I'm telling you, I would be probably like a Brad Pitt type movie star with a 6-pack.
If you
because
had,
I would just be if I had those
smoked
because I'd be
cigarettes
so
growing up.
confident. Well, no, if they made like a healthy cigarette that I could smoke, like a healthy alternative to tobacco that I could smoke and look cool, the confidence would just be, you couldn't contain me. I'd be all over the fucking place.
you would have just had your healthy cigarettes all the time.
All the time. I'd be packing them in. You do this thing where you hit the pack against the palm of your hand to pack in the tobacco. Then you pull it out, right? You put it in your mouth, right? You light it up. Oh, cool as fuck, man. I would be a different person if I could smoke healthy cigarettes.
In this story, you could have had that life had you just smoked real cigarettes. If that's what you think cigarettes get you.
Yeah, but the thing about that is that I'm not actually cool, right? And one of the cool things about cigarettes is that they're not good for you. And it's sort of like this I don't give a fuck to the world. So that life could never happen. But in my fantasy, I am a Brad Pitt 6-pack having, smoking 2 packs a day motherfucker.
There we go.
This song, Young Enough, is also very vulnerable, very good. There's a lot of good lyrics from here. But I am a beautiful boy.
Okay.
But I've never crushed a cigarette just to prove a point. Although in my head I have.
Yeah, your equivalent of that would just be what
Crushing.
else what else do you do to be cool?
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
You do nothing to be cool. You just live your best authentic self. Andrew Stieglitz,
I cry all the time. I'm in touch with my feelings.
Yeah, that's right. I cry all the time. That's my terrible impersonation of a cool person going to school.
Wow. No wonder you got your fucking ass kicked every day.
You deserve that bullying, son. Fool. Would you like to hear my 4th Charly Bliss lyric?
Yes.
Or here we go. It's from the song Scare You.
Good song. Good song.
And the lyric is, forced fun, ill at ease. All I eat is bread and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you said that the last lyric I gave about working all day and when you're not working, feeling like should be working. That those lyrics about the East Coast witch lifestyle. You said that was the most relatable. Well, I gotta say, all I eat is bread and cheese. Pretty relatable. Pretty fucking relatable.
Yeah. Is that really all you eat? Because I've eaten with you and I've seen you eat other stuff.
Okay. You're going to do this now on air. You're going to call me
on
out.
air. We're basically the lyric equivalent of Howard Stern. Okay.
We're having a dust up.
I'm calling you out. Yeah, we're having a dust up.
We're having a good old fashioned dust up. All right. Well,
50s out.
Right before this podcast, to get a window into my world, I had some cheese with some crackers. Okay. So I'm riding that high coming to this.
I mean, if you think about
relatable.
it, a lot of food is bread and cheese, right? I had a turkey sandwich today with cheese on it. That's
bread and cheese, baby.
I had tacos earlier. Technically another form of bread and cheese.
Mm-hmm. Pasta.
I had...
with bread and cheese, baby.
I had cereal. I had cereal this morning, like flakes, whatever, wheat flakes or whatever. That is basically bread, and milk is similar to cheese.
Eventually, this conversation is just gonna go the worst flakes. You're like, okay, I drove a yellow car.
Looks like cheese
on a highway. So the yellow car is like cheese, and the highway is like a bun for the car, and that's basically bread and cheese.
Exactly.
We got anything else about this? We got any more general cheese commentary? Racking the brain for cheese stories. Let's see. We got any? Ooh, I got one.
Oh,
fresh
do you
from
really?
the dome.
Let me hear your
It's
cheese
not
story.
a good story, but I just thought cheese, and that's how my mind works. So, paint a picture. Young Lucian. Okay?
Uh-huh.
College Lucian. Sitting in the dining hall with his friends. And guess what they have for soup tonight?
Cheese.
It's Cabot cheddar soup.
What is it?
Cheddar soup.
Like broccoli cheddar?
No, just cheddar.
So it's it's basically cheese whiz from a can that they sprayed out and just melted down.
It's cheddar soup, okay?
That is
and
disgusting.
I was like, holy shit, cheddar soup? Are you fucking seeing this? No way. You can make cheese into soup? Oh, fam, sign me up. I said fam in 2011, 12, 13.
Did this soup happen to be served on April 20th, perchance?
The soup was served on a day for not potheads. Soup was served for all, okay? And and I was like, holy fucking shit, cheddar soup. And all my friends were like, oh shit, cheddar soup. So then I get a big, massive bowl of cheddar soup, and I sit down at the table and no one else has cheddar soup. And I was like, what the fuck? I thought we were just like all incredibly hyped for cheddar soup. And everyone was like, no, cheddar soup, that sounds and looks gross. And I was like, but it's fucking cheese you can eat as soup. How is that not awesome? And then I had one tiny bite of it. It was so bad. It was so fucking bad. I had no more of it.
It really does sound like the worst idea possible. It sounds like somebody squirted cheese whiz from a can and just melted it down.
I imagine a big block
gross.
of cheese that just melts in the sun and then becomes soup.
How do you think, were the guys in the back making that were just like, oh fuck, we were supposed to make a soup of the day, we never made a soup of the day. Well, we have this like cheese sitting out here. It's been sitting out on the hot sidewalk. We'll just call that soup. It's still like half hard cheese. They just call it soup, and everybody's like, well, they called it soup. I mean, it must be.
I do like the idea that like sometimes they make just random ass shit and be like, you think students are gonna eat this? And they're like, I don't know, try it.
They just like to do it to make fun of the students. They're like, look at these fucking assholes. They'll eat whatever we put in front of them. These fucking sheep cattle.
Because I think we talked about it.
They batted us. You ladle some of your soup into a bowl, and the cook is just there smoking a cigarette going, bah, you fucking sheep.
I think this is also, I think I've told the story on this podcast about the one time in the dining hall, everything was banana themed. There was just one dinner when everything was banana themed. So I think in like retrospect.
We went to the same school, and I do not remember this at all.
Because I lived in Miles Standish Hall sophomore year where things got weird, okay?
Yeah, that was the weird one. Banana thing. You did tell it, but I don't remember what was in it.
So we would have like a sandwich, like a burger station or hot dog station, you know, the real good juicy stuff.
Banana burgers
in the USA, right? And it's like a griddle, and they make stuff, and you're like, oh, can I have a burger? Can I have a hot dog? Can I have a double burger? Can I have a triple hot dog? Right? And then one day they were just making peanut butter, banana, bacon sandwiches. Or it's like, what's that, Elvis?
I don't know. Banana bacon.
Yeah.
You gotta be some kind of fucked up, let me tell you.
Also,
that's another one. They're just gonna be like, look at these fucking idiots. Look at these idiots.
They also have banana pizza, which is just Nutella on crust with banana over it.
That is so gross, man. That is so fucking gross.
Anyway, was that a good cheese story? When I said I'm racking my brain for a cheese story, did that meet your story needs?
Yeah, it did. It genuinely did. I'm glad that you told me that cheese story.
I'm glad too.
I cannot believe that banana themed dinner and cheese soup.
Banana themed dinner and cheese soup.
My fifth lyric is from the song Westermarck off the album Groupie. And the lyric is, cardboard cereal eating me inside. From across your room, I saw second cousins kissing on the lawn. We will never speak again. Now, here is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, okay? Can you tell me what this means?
I'm thinking. So, second cousins kissing on the lawn. We will never speak again. Cardboard cereal. I do not know. So, I do like the idea that like you're having a good time with someone in your room, and then suddenly you see second cousins kissing, and you're just like, what happened in this room, what we saw today will never be spoken of, and we must end this friendship and never speak of what we saw here today. That's what I like about this.
Yeah, like the second cousins, we have no idea who they are. I'm not sure that they're second cousins. They look similar enough to be second cousins, but our friendship cannot continue after having seen that kiss. Like, this is a turning point.
I just like to imagine like what thing in a friendship that isn't like an argument between two people, but it's something they experience together. They're just like, well, I guess we're never speaking again. I feel like, for example, if you and I were like hanging out in the park one day and then we stumbled upon like what do we stumble upon? We stumble upon some sort of rabid squirrel, right?
Okay.
That jumps into a man's ear hole, and the man is controlled by the squirrel and then like tries to kill us. And then you have to step in and kill this person.
That's an active imagination you have there, Lucian. I know not of what you speak. Anyway.
If that were to happen, I don't think we'd ever speak again. I think we'd be so shook that we could not process the insanity of what just happened.
I mean, why not? I feel like we would be the only people who understood each other, how we felt.
That's a really beautiful way of looking at it. And that shows to me that you're very at peace and we stand.
Thank you.
All right, King. You want to hear it?
I want to hear your fifth lyric, fifth and final.
My fifth and final lyric on this Lyric Boys podcast concerning the band Charly Bliss. My fifth and final lyric is from the song Blown to Bits. So this song is about kind of like the world ending and all the things that go with the world ending. So the lyrics are, life as I know it, anything goes, karate lessons, reality shows. I feel so tired. Can't believe this is it. It's going to break my heart to see it blown to bits. So that already, the first two things that she thinks of when she thinks of the world ending, and all the things that encompass all of time and just the world in general, the first two things she thinks of are karate lessons and reality shows. And I love that.
What can be more American than that?
I do like the just understatement of it's going to break my heart to see it blown to bits. Just the idea that you're like, oh, the world ending and everything I know coming to a complete stop. That's going to break my heart.
What is your version of karate lessons reality shows? Like the first two things you think of when you think of the world ending. Do you have that?
Like what TV and what American?
No. Just like her version of like, I'm going to be upset to see the world end. The first two things I'm going to be upset about is karate lessons and reality shows. What's your version of that?
Fried dough and pumpkin patches.
Okay, my version of it is video games.
Okay.
And machinery.
Nice.
The general concept of machinery.
I just closed my eyes and I was like, it felt like there was a quick flash, like a montage in my head of all the images that have ever existed. And suddenly I just saw fried dough in a gingham napkin with some powdered sugar over it at a state fair. Because I think I'm still in the state fair mood from earlier. And I was like, that's it. That is it.
I gotta say, that is peak life right there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need expensive, fancy cars. When you have a town fair, fried dough, powdered sugar, and your loved ones, and the 4th of July, fireworks, a Bud Light, Lady Liberty smiling down on you, shedding a tear for the freedom that this country has.
Dad, it's raining. No, Lady Liberty is simply weeping for the freedoms
Dad,
that we have.
there's a severe thunderstorm warning. We need to leave.
Yeah. So then later in the song, she just starts like doing similar themes, right? It's like things that she just lists a whole bunch of things. That's all. Okay. Amongst those things are staring at cars, selling your art, feeling so sure you're waking up tomorrow, a better son or daughter, drunk walking home, making the choice to be completely alone, your mom in the yard, your dad's favorite team, poised to fail, then somehow suddenly win. Love when you're in it, felt, and French kissing. It's going to break my heart to see it blown to bits. It's just fun. I love like a little crosshatch of like aliens come to Earth and they like go back and they report it. And they're like, what did you see down there? And you're like, people were staring at cars and some of them get drunk and walk home. And the alien commander's like, yes, love this. This is the information I need.
And then the alien commander is like, we can't go home yet. We first need to go to Gallagher's 2000.
Love it.
What's your version of this?
My version is just staring at cars, questioning, am I a piece of shit? Looking at drunk walking home, questioning, am I a piece of shit? My mom in the yard, wondering if her son is a piece of shit. Your dad's favorite team. Too bad his son is a piece of shit. Love when you're in it. Even for a piece of shit. It's going to break my heart to see it blown to bits.
Amazing. Wow, we did 5 lyrics.
Good point, Andrew. You want to lead us into the next section of the Lyric Boys podcast? Huh?
Well, section number 2A states that under the Lyric Boys terms and conditions, we are now required to write our own Charly Bliss-style lyrics. That means that on the spot, we take a minute to just write some lyrics that we think fit the style of Charly Bliss, our own versions. So hang in there, folks.
Lyric Boys, Content Hounds. It's that time where me and Andrew say the lyrics that we just made up on the spot. What a great time. What a great segment. Andrew, you want to give me your very own Charly Bliss lyrics?
Why, yes, sir, I do. So, my Charly Bliss song, the name of it is called Didgeridoo.
Hell yeah.
I woke up next to you. Your voice sounded like a didgeridoo. Full of laughter from a former youth. A life well lived, now as dead as John Wilkes Booth. I found a diamond with your name, but when I held it, it burst into flame. My love for you has gone away. The end.
End scene. Damn. Just the idea of...
Do you stan a John Wilkes Booth reference?
I more stand the idea of someone's voice sounding like a didgeridoo. That would be very funny. That would be very humorous.
Yeah, it could be.
I hope any audio engineers at home are working their magic to make us into didgeridoos. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let me hear your lyric.
So this lyric is guaranteed to be a good time because I did not read it over once, and I don't know if I rhymed or if I did not. So this song is called Well Shit.
Oh, nice.
And let's just say I do not know what to do. Little ball of cheese. Flowers that make me sneeze. Torn ligament in this knee. Checking my left leg for fleas. You can give me a parade, but I'd rather float and watch my friends serenade me for being the goat. If we all died now, that would straight up suck. I wouldn't even know. Anticlimactic as fuck.
You know what? I got to say, I can really hear that in like the Charly Bliss-style. I really do. I think that was good.
Thank you. Maybe because I just stole listing things from Blown to Bits and listed different things.
Yeah. Well, maybe you did.
And then talked about the world ending.
But, clearly we're not a very original group of people.
I will say I just had a moment right now that's like, it is anticlimactic that when you die, you don't know how the whole world is going to come to an end. That's sad.
Yeah. Well, what if, I think that we know what's basically going to happen is either nuclear holocaust, but the world will still go on. It'll just be different. The sun's going to burn out 4 billion years. That's what's going to cause the end of the world. Okay. Now you know. You happy?
If you're clinging on to this life, not willing to die because you don't know how the world's going to end, well, Andrew Stieglitz just gave you a hot tip. The inevitable heat death of the universe, baby. Ding, ding.
I like it.
Sad.
I like it.
I'm glad you like it. And if you are one of our listeners at home thinking, I like it too, well, here's another hot tip. You can subscribe and follow to the Lyric Boys podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Like, if you're listening to a podcast, wherever the hell you're listening to this podcast, you can most likely follow or subscribe because you're probably doing it on Apple or on Spotify or on one of the other ones like Overcast. Whatever. Point is, subscribe, follow, and you'll never miss a Lyric Boys episode because they'll drop in your thing. It'll drop in your thing and you always get to listen to it.
Yes, your thing.
It'll drop in your thing. Guess what, honeys, fools? We're also on social media at The Lyric Boys, which is social media includes Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. And we're there. And if you want to, reach out, you can DM us or whatever. And we will have a blast connecting in an organic way.
Hashtag content. Speaking of hashtag content, the song that's playing under this explanation right now is a song written by myself. And it's called the Lyric Boys Podcast Theme Song. And if you like that, original title. I have more where that came from at freelancerband.bandcamp.com or freelancer on SoundCloud or freelancer on Google, or just think about freelancer and maybe my songs will start playing.
I love it. Great promo. Iconic promo.
We're the promo kings.
We're the promo kings. That's it. That was the podcast. I hope you had a great time, and I hope this made you want to come back again, because we'll be back again, baby. And we'll be here with our jokes and our lessons and our thing. Okay? So have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great life.